Good morning. Welcome back to 410 Outdoors. It is a cold and snowy morning here in the Midwest. So it's a good day to make a video. So I thought that I would keep on with our 410 reloading series. So we're gonna cover loaders today, and there's a lot of variety out there, a lot of different ways to do it. This is how I do it. There's certainly nothing wrong with the other ways, but this is the way I've done it and the way it's worked for me for a lot of years. So we're gonna go over that stuff. So first off, there's a lot of different brands of loaders. You have Mech, you have Pons Warren's makes 410 loaders. Those are the two main ones. There's not a lot of variety in 410. Mech is really the main one in 410. You get into other gauges, there's a lot, RCBS and all that, Lee. But when it comes to 410, Mech and Pons Warren's are your big players, and Mech really, in my opinion, dominates it. There's not a lot of demand. I've always wanted Dylan to make a 410 reloader, but I have emailed and asked, and they say, nope, we're not making one. There's not enough demand for it and all that, which I'm sure that there's a lot of validity to that, but they would sell them if they had. I would buy one. So, but this is what I have, and this is what I've used, and you know, what's worked for me for a long time, and I've loaded thousands upon thousands of shells on them, and it's not the fastest by any means, but it works. And I can truthfully say that I have never had a hiccup on it. It's pretty safe as far as that goes, as far as like you really got to try to get a double charge in it or something like that. So you know, but obviously you need to read the owner's manual for whatever loader you get and all that kind of stuff. So this is the Mech 600 Junior. It's a Mark V. It's one of the new ones. One way that you can tell the new ones from the old ones real easy is the wad guide here. So on the old ones, this was a red. It was a completely different unit. It looked like this. This was steel, and it threaded together, and the wad fingers, you threaded it apart, and the wad fingers actually set in there. Then you threaded it back together and put it back on there. So that's one way that you can tell real quick that this is a new Mark V. Other than that, there's really not just a whole lot of difference in them. They have changed some things, but I've used some of the old ones, but all of mine are Mark V, so it's easier to get parts and, you know, screws and that kind of stuff for them. So I actually have two of these. I have one for 2.5-inch shells, which is this one, and I have one for 3-inch shells. Obviously, they're exactly the same, just set up to load differently. Let's talk about price of these. So in 2020, if you order one of these off the internet, roughly you're going to spend $250 by the time you get it shipped to your door. But at $9 a box savings, you know, on 410s, that adds up pretty quick. So, you know, you load 30 boxes of shells, 30 times 9, you know, you're paying for the loader. So 410, obviously you save a ton of money loading your ammo. So I'm just going to go over the loader here, kind of hit the major points of it, and then we'll do a video later of us actually loading. So the short bottle, this loader, I actually bought it used. It was used, but it was brand new. I went into a little gun shop, and it was setting on top of a safe. And I got to asking the guy about it, and he said, yeah, it's for sale. And he priced it to me. Like I say, it wasn't in the box, but it was brand new. It had, I mean, if anybody had loaded on it, it wasn't enough shells to even put any wear on it. It's been a great loader. I have never had any problems out of it. Never, nothing that kept me from loading. I mean, I can honestly say I have had zero problems out of it. I have modified it just ever so slightly, but nothing major. The only modifications that I've done to it is I put a big shot bottle on it. When I bought it, and which it was the way it would have came, it would have came with 2 of these short bottles. I put a larger bottle on it, and then I put a bottle support on it, because you get this thing full of shot. This will hold about 20 pounds of shot, this tall bottle. So you get that full and get kind of shaken, and honestly, I don't think it would probably break, but I didn't want that breaking and number 9 shot going all over the place. So I spent the money on a bottle support and put one on there. So you certainly don't have to have the large bottle. You know, I used the short one for years, so not a big deal. Then the other major part is your shot bar, which is right here. Hopefully you can see that. It's this red piece right here. It runs all the way through here. Here I have another one. This is another one, just as an example. Your shot bar, Mac, they put numbers on the end that tell you what the shot bar is. So that tells you what it is. And then you use these right here. These are called bushings. So obviously it slides into the loader, and it slides into the shot bar, and then this all goes in the loader as you see it. So, but obviously the bushings are numbered, and depending upon what you're doing, depends on the size of the bushing you're using. So obviously there is, you can tell the different sizes, and like I say, they're all numbered from MEC. So in your reloading manual, a lot of times you have to cross-reference to find out which one of these you need to use. But always go back to your loading manual on that. So, and then the only other thing that I've ever used as far as a modification, this is a powder baffle. So I actually, I'm not a big fan of these. I've never had any double loads or double charges, nothing. But when I was using this, I was getting some light loads. So what this is, in this cylinder here, there's a shelf that goes this way, and then below it, there's another shelf that goes this way. And it's supposed to trickle the powder down and give you a more consistent charge. I would not recommend using one of these. I know a lot of guys do, and but I would not use one. You screw this on here, and then your powder bottle goes into that. So that's what those are for. So I'm not a fan of those at all. So just a little bit about the loader. Here is your depriming. This pin, it comes down, knocks the primer out. This is your primer tray. It goes right there. Kick the primer out, resize the hull, all in one station. Your primer falls in there, and you know, that'll hold several. The second station here is your repriming. So then you have your empty hull, you put a primer in there, slide it up here, push this down, it goes down. This is a spring-loaded cavity that has a post in it. Your primer sets on that post. There's the spring, obviously. This goes in there, and then, you know, that's how that works. So, hi, Peter. So, that's how that works. Third station, you pull down, you push this bar over, that drops your powder charge. You raise it up, you put your wad in, push it back down, push it back this way, your shot falls, and then it's open. And then at this station here, this is your starter crimp. So if you can see in there, it's got little slots that start it. You just pull that down and it starts the crimp, and then you slide it back here, and this gives you your finished crimp. So it's pretty simple. 6 pulls of the handle to 1 shell, which a lot of guys don't like that. That's obviously, you can't load as fast on one of those as you can an automatic, but I can load a box of shells on this in about 8 minutes or so. So that's what it takes me. And then these are the bolts that you use to bolt it down. Max sends these. They're just a big slotted screw, nothing special, with a wing nut on them. You do have to bolt them down. I mean, I've seen, you have to have it fastened down to something. You can't just sit here and use it like this loose. I've seen guys put them on boards, you know, and then swap them out, that kind of thing, if they don't have room to leave them set up all the time and that kind of stuff. But everybody does it a little bit differently. So, you know, whatever works depending upon your situation. And then, of course, this all comes with a manual. You know, there's your components, you know, what parts of a shotgun shell. You know, safety, of course, is a huge issue. All your parts, pieces, tells you all the step-by-step instructions. You know what to do if you're having, this right here is pretty interesting if you're crimped, depending on how your crimp looks. All that kind of stuff. So there's that. They also come with, of course, they want you to buy more mech stuff, which I like mech. You know, here's all their accessories. They have stackers, shot bars, shelves to hold your bushings, primer feeds, all that stuff. They, of course, send you a reloading manual, which you should always follow. Just more, that's their metallic reloading, so rifle stuff. Here's your parts list, a schematic of it, and all that stuff. And then they send you a really nice catalog, a color catalog that has all their other stuff in it. So all their different loaders. There's their 9000 series. You know, and all kinds of neat stuff in here. They make some pretty cool stuff. Mech even makes throwers. They sell some wads, and you know, I don't know if they actually make their own throwers, but they market them and that kind of thing. So that's just kind of a brief overview of the loader, and next time we will we'll load some shells with it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what your guys' experiences are.